What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the episode of The Locker Room. I'm here with Tim Grant. What's going on, brother?
Not much, man.
Mate, good to have you.
Yeah, excited to be here.
We were just talking, how's retirement, but is it really retirement? We don't know. How's it been?
Yeah, it's I've heard the word retirement a fair bit. I didn't really want to use it myself. It could be my last game that I got injured in. But in saying that, I never say never. I'll get the pec right, and I still got the fire in my belly to play footy. That's what I've done since I was a kid. That's all I ever wanted to do, really. So if the opportunity shows itself, I'd definitely look at it.
And so, for you personally, when it all kind of came about, was it more just like, I've only got a year left on my contract, I'll get this right, and then decide? Or what was the process when you did tear your pec? What was the thought process?
Yeah, so when I did it, because I fully ruptured it, it didn't really hurt that much. I was like, I'm actually all right here. It just like Velcro ripping. I thought, that didn't seem right, but I'm not in that much pain, so it wasn't too bad. But then when we checked it, it was fully ruptured and needed a tendon graft and all that sort of stuff. So it was pretty bad. But at the time, I wanted to play with a ruptured pec, to be honest. They said it had never been done, but I thought, you know what? Probably no one ever played with a bicep tear until one guy did it. Now everyone does it, right? So I was pretty keen to play on, but after having a chat to a surgeon and also Ivan, it probably wasn't the best thing to do in terms of maybe letting the team down. So it was time to step aside.
Step aside, far out. It's such a momentous call, especially when it comes through injury. As in you want to fight through it because you're a fucking competitive footy player, but you're also you've got all these other things in your head, like the team, and you know what I mean? Yeah,
I think the moment was I went home and I didn't help around the house. It wasn't me and my girlfriend had got this thing, whoever's out of the bed last is going to make it. I just didn't make it for a couple of weeks in that, and she's like, if you can't make a bed, how are you going to play NRL with a ruptured pec? Yeah. I was like, you know what, you're probably right. I couldn't make the bed. I actually couldn't. And I was like, I was just toying with my own mind that I could play. I can play with anything, but obviously you can't.
Mate, that footy mentality, you know what? You won't realise how crazy it is until you're out of it, I reckon. Playing with carts and blood and head knocks, especially our generation coming through. We didn't go off with head knocks.
Man, no way. It was
you were soft if you went off with a head knock.
Man, I've played in games where I was I can't remember it, and then you watch 100%. It and go, just autopilot. I've probably played some of the best footy.
Not just fucking wing it, offloading out the back, throwing cutout balls. Same. And the crazy thing is when we were coming through, I know it was a different generation or whatever, not that long ago, but it was basically a rule. If you came off the field, you did not play the next week. You were you better be fucked.
Yeah, 100%. And then even if you've got a broken leg or something and still didn't get in the defensive line, shit's hitting the fan on Monday 100%. In video.
You get called soft. You get called soft. You can make it. You can make it. So how's it been anyway with the rehab? Is everything going along smoothly?
Yeah, I've been looked after. It's been a sort of soft transition. If that was sort of my last game, it's sort of been a softer transition. I think not being around the boys and that would have hurt. Just cut off straight away. So the club were good enough for me to still do my rehab at the club.
Good facilities too.
Man, it's unreal. I just like being amongst the boys. Some days I don't sort of start my rehab until 10:30, but the boys are in there at 8:30 having coffees and that, so I'm just there around the table. You know, it's the banter and that sort of stuff.
So good, bro.
I just love the energy that the boys bring. And so for me, I've been sort of going in nearly every day for training, doing cardio and that sort of stuff, and sort of doing a bit of an internship with a club in the commercial department as well. So it's sort of still been really involved. So it's been easy, to be honest.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think that one of the key things, if you can stay involved in the squad, and not many people get the fortune to do that, because if they kept everyone, there'd be fucking 300 people there.
That's right, yeah.
But if you can stay around the boys, it does kind of help ease that kind of loss of playing footy.
Yeah, I think so. And I think because I'm there as well, and the boys are there and they come into rehab and they're injured and that, and maybe they're out for 6 weeks instead of the rest of the season. I sort of, can be there and get the vibe up in the physio room and that sort of stuff too. So I think it goes both ways, and it's been working cool. It's been good.
And so it takes back to a young fella. So you grew up out west?
Yeah, I grew up at Cambridge Park.
Is that Freddie's deep west?
Yeah, that's where Freddie Fittler's from.
Oh,
he
really?
Played out there. Yeah, so I'm right in the thick of it. Just grew up out there. Played my local footy at St Mary's. It's probably one of the bigger clubs. Started playing there when I was 7 years old. And
is because I'm from the Gold Coast, is Western Sydney as bad as we like as hectic as we think it is, or not really?
I think it's a perception thing. Like, because I grew up in sort of Cranebrook, out west, there's sort of a bad sort of the perception of it's pretty bad.
Yep.
I grew up there with all the kids and that, so it was normality to me.
Yeah.
And then I played at St Mary's, so all my mates were from Mount Druitt. So my family, my mum's side of the family, grew up in Mount Druitt too. So I didn't know any better. Like, for me, it's sweet, it's fine. Yeah. It's I love it, to be honest.
That's crazy. Like, we don't really. I mean, we've got Logan in Queensland. But I mean, Logan wasn't that bad. I was in Woodridge for a bit, but like there's such a like Western Sydney, like that's the kind of reputation from outside of Western Sydney. That's this crazy place. But So growing up was Freddie Fit. Who was your idol? Obviously,
Paul Harrigan.
Paul Harrigan,
of course. Yeah. Okay. So I love the Chief. Everything that he did, like, man, I was all over it. So man, and it was weird. I used to go to my mum and dad used to take me up Marathon Stadium. Would stand on the hill and watch the Knights play. I just. Probably one of my greatest memories of watching footy, 97 grand final, was like crazy, man. It was,
really?
Man, we like had flags up in our house and everything. Newcastle was our team. My brother loved Joey and I just loved Chief. But man, I was there when he played his last game. His last game was actually at Penrith Stadium.
So, really?
Sort of a sad day to see it. I think he was more along the lines of concussion and that sort of stuff too before his time.
Really?
I think that's what finished him. And I remember the game pretty clear. It was at Penrith Stadium.
Far out. That's crazy. It's full circle. But he's what I find is strange with guys like for example, he was so tough on the field.
Oh man!
And yet he's so chill off it. Like,
man, like I've met him a few times, and I still like in awe of it. He's still like a fan. I'm still a fanboy, even though I've like played with guys that have played with him and met him a few times. I'm like, oh, that's Chief, man. He's the man.
The Chief. He is the man. So from a young age, did you always excel at footy, or was it something that slowly came to you? And do you know what I mean?
I was average. I was like, even coming through, I was sort of not very good, but sort of always had a work ethic of, my parents always instilled in me, whatever you want to do in life, you can do it. You just got to, put in the time and the effort and sacrifice. So when I went into Harold Matts, I remember Shane Richardson was our CEO at Panthers, and he's come in and Richo's, even though he's the world's nicest guy and that, he comes across as like pretty heavy, He sat us all down and pretty much gave us the analogy that like one or two guys in the room are going to make it. The rest, you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
And I was sitting around guys like Michael Jennings and Joseph Paulo and all these sort of guys. I'm like, these guys are awesome. Like they're the grouse. Yeah. I've got nothing on these guys. Like, what can I do? And I made a thing to myself, like never be out-trained, like never let anyone out-train me. That's something I can control. It doesn't take talent. It's just effort, And from that day forward, I was like, that's going to be my point of difference. And, I think even now, like, I got to play Origin and that sort of stuff, but I don't think it was off the back of skill. It was off the back of hard work and hanging in there.
It's so true though, like, especially with a game like footy, because it's like, don't get me wrong, there's a natural, like, there is always natural ability. You got to have some natural ability to fucking play NRL. But I feel like it's such a tough game that if you can be some hectic trainer, you can make up for a lot of ability there.
Yeah, I think so. I think like there's so many guys that we know that were super talented that just didn't have that next gear in them, and I think it's just
that mentality. That's
appliance, man. That's all it was. And there's guys where you see and you're like, oh, he's average, and then average, and he just keeps adding that 10% every year, and then he's a freak, right? Like you hear of stories like Bedsy and that, like they didn't know what to do with Bedsy. He was like a fullback, and then he just turned up, and then they threw him in hooker. He was like a fullback half, and they threw him at hooker, and probably one of the best to ever play the game, right? That's just, he learned his craft and he applied himself. Yeah,
it's so true. Like, it's just, there's so many guys where you're like, look, you got so much talent, but to play NRL, I don't care what anyone says, to like actually make it into NRL and play a few games, you got to have some kind of mental toughness and discipline to get to there.
100%. That's why I don't think I could ever go into the media, because I feel like they have an opinion on other NRL boys, And I know that what it took for me to get there, and I've got this massive mutual respect for anyone that's put on, an NRL jersey and competed, man. I take my hat off to anyone that's done it.
It guts me. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't mind like constructive criticism, or even just criticism like he didn't play that well. Yeah. But when they fully tear into him, I'm like, man, bro, like, do you think he's out there trying to play bad? Like,
100%.
Like, come on, like, how does that? like there's a difference between going, look, he needs to improve here, here, and here.
Yeah.
And like he was terrible, it's embarrassing, right. It's like fuck me,
I think
man.
pro sport is the only occupation in the world. Like, say for instance, you get an electrician come around to your house.
Yeah.
Imagine if you like filmed him and then told him like, mate, you're shit. You're
Like,
a shit tradie.
So shit.
And you've never wired a light in your life, but you're telling this guy how to do it.
Yeah.
That's the analogy, and it's no different, you know.
Yeah.
But I think that's the beauty of our game. That's why the fans are so passionate and turn up every week, you know.
Yeah, because they're so invested, kind of thing.
Yeah, but you know, I say to the boys that sort of get down from reading press, and I was like, man, it's just like they've never been in the arena. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it means
like,
nothing. It really means nothing.
Yeah,
like, it does. It just words. Like,
100%.
Okay, so when was it? When did you basically begin to not make? Did you make rep sides or anything?
Yeah,
like
I played. I was lucky to make Harold Mats, to be honest.
Oh, really?
I played Harold Mats at Penrith. I was 16.
Yep.
At the time, I was doing a plumbing apprenticeship, so it
Oh,
was
really?
sort of burning the candle at both ends because, you know, when your mum and dad's like, oh, what are you going to do after school now? Oh, I'm going to play footy.
Yep.
And my parents were like, follow my dreams and all that sort of stuff, but
Yep.
let's also follow reality. If you want to leave school when you're 15, 16, you're going to have to get a trade. So I was doing plumbing apprenticeship, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm going to play footy because digging holes is too hard, man.
Oh, bro.
Never want to do that ever again.
Yeah,
So,
no.
man, it was a hard slog. You know, Harold Mats and that are like, they just flog you, and like last man standing might have what it takes to go to the next level. So, man, I was getting up at like 5:30 in the morning, digging holes all day, and then getting dropped off. My boss would drop me off at training on the way home.
And you're just like covered in fucking
man, I was rocking up with
conduit
like
glue and shit.
oh, bro, the boys were rocking up with like nice private school uniforms and that on. Like they were all going to like Doms and St. Pat's and that because you know they were footy schools, and I'm rocking up with like mud and slurry.
Oh, so did you leave school at 16?
Yeah, I left school. I was 15.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like I just all my other mates were doing it. That's
Yep.
you know, I suppose that's Western Sydney. Like you're either a tradie or drop out of school or whatever. So I did that for 2 years, and man, it was a hard lesson, but I think it sort of put things into perspective of, you know, how grateful I was to then go full time and get to do what I loved.
Yeah.
You know, it was sort of half the work I had to do when I was doing full time plumbing and training.
Oh man! And like when you get to do full time training, you kind of appreciate like, look, this is just a day at work. Like,
yeah,
it's
100%.
It's just another day at work.
I was going to do it anyway after work, so
Yeah,
how
yeah,
good's this? Getting
yeah.
paid to do it. It's unreal.
Bloody oath. So when you in that first year when you did get selected in Harold Mats, was it like, did you excel? Did you just get your job done? Or?
I don't think I excelled, as in like, but I think my work ethic was like noted. You know what I mean? I had a really good relationship with the coach. He was a school teacher, Billy Dowers, and I think he's a school principal now. And that old hard edge of discipline was really instilled in all of us. And I think, you know, I just had the attitude of team first and trained hard. And I was lucky enough to the following year play SG ball a year young. So it sort of worked out for me, yeah.
Yeah, far out. It's just when you look back on it, you're like, man, I was so young. Like,
man, I remember making my debut and I was like, finally. And I was like 18 or 19. I was like, finally, it's come now. Look at an 18 or 19 year old. I was like,
what are you doing,
bro? You're doing all right if you're playing 20s. But at the time, I was like, I'm ready.
100%. When I made my debut when I was like 19, just about to turn 20, I'm pretty sure. And I was exact same. Bro, I played soccer till I was 17.
Yeah,
and I was impatient. I was sitting there going I was wigging out that I wasn't playing NRL yet. And I look back, I'm like, what the fuck? Like I remember I was like 23 and I'm like, fuck, my career's nearly over if I don't fucking,
it's crazy, eh?
Like you just, I don't know what, like, I wish I could just go back into my head and go, mate, just chill out. Like, you're all good.
Absolutely. Like when you hear guys go, I wish I could go back with what I know now. And you're like,
mate.
When you're young, you're like,
mate, shut
whatever,
up.
I know it all now.
yeah. I'm going mad. Like, I'm ripping in. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Man, can you imagine, like, take your mindset now? You'd be such a good player.
Oh, man.
You'd be such a good player.
And just the, like, patience to go through your game and break everything down. Back then, you're just like, just go for it. Just
go
rip
for
in.
it. Yeah. And you'd be like...
Erratic.
You would know exactly like, all right, I need to have this many hit-ups. I need to be there here on the field.
Man.
I need to do this play. I need to run like this. I need to... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, or when I'm getting a bit mentally soft, I need to fucking pull my head in.
It's crazy.
Whereas when you're younger, you're not thinking about any of that shit.
Yeah, nah.
It's
It's crazy, man.
Okay, so you've left school when you were 15, turning 16. And so how did the decision come about of like, did they offer you full-time training and you said, okay, I'm going to stop my plumber apprenticeship? Or
Yeah, so I sort of got to the stage where I couldn't put on any weight and that sort of stuff.
just working so much.
I was working hard and then playing hard as well. So there was a little bit of a transition there where my next door neighbor actually is like owned a transport company, and he's like gave me a job in the office. So I was just like pretty much in the office, not doing much at all. I was so grateful for the opportunity he gave me. So like I was pretty much in my mind, I was like spending a whole day just getting ready to train that Arvo.
Yeah.
So I did that for a bit, and then went full time with Panthers at about 17, 18. So
how'd that conversation come about?
Man, it was Peter Mulholland. He's at Canberra now. He had a chat with my manager and was like, "Oh, you're pretty much going on to next season." Matt Elliott just come to the club. He took over from John Lang, and it was like, he's big on young guys coming through. And myself, Jeff Daniela, Junior Moores, and Michael Jennings went up full time. It was crazy, man.
And so, were you shocked when that phone call came?
Yeah, I was like, "What do you mean full time? Like, does that mean I don't have to go to work and that?" Like, yeah, man. Like, you're full time, like, man. And then I remember rocking up, and there was like Tony Pulatua, Luke Prittis, like the remains of that team that won the grand final were there. 2003 team, like the boys were still there, like Trent Waterhouse. And I was like looking around, Joel Clinton. I was like, "This is mad." Like,
who was the first person that you saw and you was like,
"Oh man, Craig Gower was like the ultimate for me. Like, he was just a freak, man."
Did he come up to you and shake your hand, or how did
yeah. Back in them days, it was more of a pecking order and that too. So like they'll acknowledge you in that, but you weren't one of the boys. Like, you weren't one of the boys just yet.
You've done nothing.
The Frank and Tony Pulatua, they sort of come through St. Mary's and that as well. So we always had something in common. Like, all the boys were welcoming, but they never let you get ahead of yourself.
Nah, no way.
I was sort of lucky at the time too. Joel Clinton sort of put his arm around me, and
he's such a nice guy.
Oh, he's a legend, and helped me through. Like, he sort of mentored me as well. So it was unreal. And
it's we were talking about it earlier, that had the difference in today's. It's just a different generation, I think. But you rocked up to training, and it was like, even when you'd played in a role when I was coming through, they still said things to you like, "Mate, you've done nothing. Like, you've literally done nothing,
mate." Crazy. You couldn't do it now. You'd be getting done for being bullies.
Yeah, 100%. Like, the coach would have to pull you up, be like, "Mate, you can't be speaking to young fellas like that."
Crazy.
Whereas back in the day, it was like you'd be getting sprayed by the older boys.
I reckon it, like, you knew you were one of the boys when they stared putting shit on you too, though.
That's 100%.
When they're not putting shit on you, you're an outcast.
You know what's fucking funny is I had one of the young boys on the show, and he was like, he definitely wasn't complaining about being sprayed or anything, but he was just, you could get the sense that he didn't really like it.
Didn't know how to take it, yeah.
And I was like, "Mate, I promise you, when they stop spraying you, they don't like you. You are not one of the boys."
Yeah, it's a term of endearment. If they're spraying you, you're one of the boys.
Yeah, and they're testing you to see whether you are one of the boys, or whether you're a little fucking sook that's going to go off in the corner and be... And so, and I didn't know that. I just copped it for years, but I didn't know that until I got older and they accepted me and realised, and they're like, "Mate, like, you see," they named a person, and they were like... They named a person in the squad, and they're like, "Has he played NRL yet?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And they were just like, "Well, we don't talk to him. We don't spray him, but we don't really... He's not one of the boys. There's a reason why he hasn't played NRL yet."
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was like, "Fucking hell." Like, I didn't realise at the time that me getting peppered every morning was...
Man, I've heard some stories about the early days at the Bronx too. Like,
bro, it would have been ruthless. Ruthless, man. It got to a point where they had to pull it back because it was so hectic. It was just because we had this unbelievable side, and it was just and at the end of the day, when you're in a side full of internationals, and you're the young 18, 19-year-old, A, you've got to be one of the best in the country to be in that squad at 18, 19, and B, you got to earn that respect because you're not coming into that Broncos jersey.
Man. And there's massive expectation, right?
Massive. There was no he's young, he can have this. Nah. It was like, if you come in, look at Kate, Carmichael Hunt. He came in and killed it. He was and he needed to kill it. Otherwise, he never would have got that spot.
You put that jersey on, you're one. It doesn't matter 100%. If you played 100 or 1.
Yeah, exactly. And you, back in those days, if you were Bronco and you debuted, you'd usually play really well because there was that huge expectation.
Man.
But so you rock up, Craig Gower. And what was the first training session like? When was it the first time you're like, "Holy shit, this is fucking first grade"?
Oh man, we were doing crazy stuff. We had a strength conditioner, Carl Jennings, and he's from England, but he was at the Raiders when they were old school.
Yep.
Trained hard, played hard.
Yep.
And man, I remember the first training session. I was like, "Oh, what's going on here?" And it was no sports science. They'll just run you until you're an inch from death.
Yeah.
And then we went to a gym session, and we had a challenge on the rower before the gym session. So bro, haven't we already done con?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did that this morning. Now it's row 1,000, like 10 clean and jerks, 10 burpees, and then went like 800, 12, right down to 300 row into 20 of each, man. It was crazy. And like, that was nearly death again. And then, all right, boys, we'll do weights now.
Yeah.
Man, I was still living with my parents now. I'd go home in our lunch break for a sleep. I was like rattled.
Yes,
I was
yeah,
like
you'd
crazy,
have to sleep
man.
because you were so rattled.
Right, it was crazy.
And there was, as you said, there was no like science. It was like, let's towel these boys until they can't go anymore.
Yeah, man. And I remember like edge on edge, like ruck plays and that, running, and like Joel Clinton and Tony like Pullatua just banging you. I'm like,
yeah, just shooting out, just jam you.
Last year I was playing SG ball. This year I'm like running full noise into these guys, man. It's crazy.
It's funny you say that because like, so it would have been, this was before I debuted. It was like the first year, maybe the first year in the NRL squad, or maybe the second year in the NRL squad. Anyway, at the end of training, Wayne, like we were all walking off. I'm walking off. Yep, all good. Wayne said, "Oh, Dan, come here." I was like, "Yeah, sweet." Walked over. He's like, "Oh, yeah, just need you to hold the pads." I was like, "Yeah, sweet." Like the diamond, wear the diamond.
Yeah.
Anyway, Shane Webke fucking walks out.
Oh.
Bro, it's a 10-meter drill, and so basically I've got to run at Shane Webke in a 10-meter drill, and at first I'm like, "This is crazy," but I'm like, 10-meter drill. This is my fucking bread and butter against
you put
the
a
forward.
bit of feet on him here.
As he walks past me, he goes, if you do one step, I'm going to fucking kill you. So I just had to get fucking oosted by Shane Webke, 18-year-old, no idea, skinny as. And and at the time, I just thought I just happened to be someone walking past. But I look back now, I'm like, Wayne did that on purpose. Like, he wanted to see whether I was just going to get fucking oosted by Shane Webke.
No head knock back then either.
Nah,
you're copping head knocks at training.
Oh, man. And he just fucking oosted me. Like, this constant, just boss, and just different time. And I was an 82-kilo winger.
Wouldn't happen now, eh?
No way.
The sports scientists would be going off their head.
Oh, yeah. What are you doing?
G-force.
Yeah.
Man, it'd be flagged.
Like similar situation. Okay, so that first year in the first grade squad, you just played New South Wales Cup, or?
So I played one game in flag.
Yep.
Straight into New South Wales Cup, and then round 8, I made my debut against the Dragons.
In the first year?
Yeah.
Fuck.
So I played 11 games that year. So,
wow. Fucking hell.
Man, it was a crazy year, man.
So that you debuted, what, 2007?
2007, yeah.
Same year as me. So you would have been 18 years old.
Yeah, 19. I think I
just turned
February.
19.
Yeah, I turned 19.
Okay.
So man, it was crazy. But like when I look back, I was like, I was there, but I probably didn't contribute to the outcome of the game. Like, you were there as their blood in you. You know, like, it's a future,
especially in the forwards kind of thing.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. Like when I look back, I thought, I'm contributing here, but you weren't really, man.
Yeah,
like,
nah.
I was getting carried.
And so, how did the phone call come about for the debut?
Man, I remember it clear as day. I was like, I was 18th man a few times. I was actually 18th man against the Bronx, like around 5 or 6 or something. And it was pretty much just for me to go and see how the boys travel. And anyway, I got my ankles strapped, and I was like, I didn't know. You know, like when am I 18th man or am I just a tourist? Like, got my ankles strapped and like half ready to play, and then one of the boys had back spasms.
Yep.
And like you just had the Grouse team 07.
Yep.
I probably wasn't ready to play first grade. Yep. Like mentally, I was like, I'm just carrying the water bottles. And that. And then our trainer goes, mate, one of the boys has got back spasms. Just make sure you're ready. I'm like, like this is.
So you weren't mentally in that space.
I was like, I didn't know whether to get my ankles strapped on the Suncorp Stadium.
Yeah. Also, it's against the Bronx.
Yeah, it was like, this is crazy.
What round was it?
Would have been like round 5 or something. Okay. Earlier. It was earlier, like
so I
debuted
I round 10. So we won the premiership the year before.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Gun team.
Man, crazy. And I was like, far out. Like, this is reality, man.
Yeah.
Like, far out. And then he got through, played the game. It was actually Tony Pullatua. He had back spasms. And he got through, played the game. And then 2-3 weeks later, Matty Elliott come up to me, and I thought, I'm 18th man again. And I remember I was in the gym. He goes, mate, come over here. And it was the chest press machine. He's like, have a seat. So I'm sitting in this chest press machine. He's like, mate, you'll make your debut this week. I was like, oh man, this is crazy. Like,
what?
Bro, like so many things were going through my head.
18-year-old front rower. Were you front rower as well?
Yeah. And like played against the Dragons. They had like Rolsey and them sort of guys. I was like, this is all time.
Yeah.
And I remember I rang my mum, and I was like, I'm making my debut this week.
Yep.
And I think they were in shock as well, like come so quick.
Yep.
But all my family that went to the game was unreal.
Was it down there or
it was at Oakey?
Really?
Yeah.
So young Western Sydney lad.
Crazy, man.
What was that feeling like? I mean, it's one thing to, like, for example, I'm from the Gold Coast, so like to run out for Brisbane, it still meant it so fucking much.
Yeah.
But to be from Western Sydney to run out for the Penrith Panthers, and
Oh,
that was your team. Oh, Newcastle was, but yeah, that's your
man.
local team.
I never had the ambition to play for Newcastle. Like as a kid, it was always, man. Like we'd go to the footy at Penrith Stadium like every game. I was like, oh man, to run out there would be.
That's
the
crazy.
ultimate.
So Newcastle were your team, but you still were like, nah, I'm playing for Penrith.
Yeah, just that's my team. You know what I mean? Like I love Newcastle obviously because of Chief and they had the mad team and that.
Yeah.
But it was always I wanted to put on a Penrith jersey. Just that's my town. That's my team. So, man, it was unreal. I remember I used to wear like red Adidas Predators. Yeah, and I was like, I can't wear that on the boots. So I had to borrow a pair of boots, just black boots. Like,
because you didn't want to.
Back then, you weren't layering up. Like now,
so
you're layering up if you're wearing black boots.
That's so true.
Back then, I didn't want to stand out too much, and that, so I borrowed a pair of boots because I had the red Predators. I was like, oh, I can't wear that, man.
That's fucking so true, bro. Because even in my debut, I remember I was like worried. I had like the only reason I wore red Nike boots was because they're the only ones that were screw-ins.
Yeah.
And otherwise, I would be like, nah, fuck that. Like the boys will smash me. Like.
Man, I didn't want to be that player. Like, I'd get away with it in Reggie's or, flagging that because you sort of have a bit of a name. The next guy coming through, you can get away with it. But in NRL, I didn't want to layer up. So I was
way.
Out.
Okay, so what do you remember from the debut? Like running out?
It's just so fast, man. I remember the warm-up and I was blowing in warm-up and I was like, oh, man, this is like...
Did you come off the bench or start?
Yeah, I come off the bench. So I was named at 14.
Yep.
Come off the bench.
Utility.
I come on with like 10 minutes to go in the first half.
Yep.
And I was blowing by halftime. I was like, I'm cooked. And then I played another 10, so I played like 20 minutes.
Yep.
Man, it was just so quick. I remember it was so quick, man.
Yeah, and like the wrestle would have been in by then. Yep.
Yeah, I think it was like Melbourne's. Yeah. They
were the only ones doing it.
They were the king of it. But
they used to just grapple the shit out of you back in the day.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Before the rest knew what was happening.
The old neck.
The neck
twist
crank.
Yep.
Man, that was
calf
so
rides
bad.
And all that sort of stuff.
Oh, bro, it was so
head
bad.
of the game, eh?
So bad. And so, did you win that game?
No, we got beat.
Yeah, Dragons were pretty good that year, I think. 2007 and 8, they were decent. I think.
Yeah, they were good. Yeah.
And so, what you played the rest of the year, pretty much? Or?
Yeah, I played 11 or 12 games. I sort of come in and out a bit. When I looked a bit fatigued, Matty would put me back to Reggie's and get some game time because you come in and you're playing as a front rower off the bench, you're playing 20 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
In Reggie's, I was playing like 60, so he'd put me back down and blow out the cobwebs and then come back up, which it was good. He was looking after me. It was a bit of a learning curve.
Yeah, you need that, eh? Sometimes you need that. I was similar. Like my first year, I'd play like 4 games, I think. And so you made City Country that year as well.
No, I played City Country 2010.
Oh, 2000.
Yeah,
okay.
Man, it was sort of a weird thing for me. Like I played like 11 or 12 games I'm a first grader now. You know what it's like.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And then going in, I had a really good preseason in 2008, leading into 2008.
Yeah.
The club had just signed Petro. I was like, how good's this? And we were doing a post session for the trials, and I was starting next to Petro. I was like, how good's this? Life's unreal. Like, this is someone that I idolise. Like, man, even though I love Chief, I always had an eye on Petro and what he was doing.
Petro was so good, like, bro.
As a front rower, he's God, right?
Yeah.
And I remember I got turned over in a tackle. We're doing a post session just before our first trial and ruptured my syndesmosis. So 2008, it took me like 3 or 4 months. 2008, I played 5 games. And
back in those days, like the rehab was nowhere near the level it is today.
Like it was old school. There was no tightrope and I had a screw in there. And then you get your surgery and then you got to go back in for another surgery to take the screw out. And it was just a nightmare.
Yeah, torture.
So I sort of missed the whole season pretty much.
Yeah.
Played 5 games.
Just a write-off kind of thing.
It was mentally, I'm like, far out, man.
Like, you went so well the year before, and then injury,
and
reality
then,
check.
I was coming off contract, and then it would have hurt me a little bit, I guess. If I played a full season, I could have and went well. I probably would have got paid much better. But in saying that, it was like a modest contract at the start, and then I got a 3-year deal, so it was sort of gradually build up from that, which was good.
And so the next year, did you come back having let's say that would have been 2009 then? Coming in 2009?
Yeah, 2009 I sort of was a regular. Probably still wasn't playing great footy. I was, in and out of contributing to a result. At the time we had guys, Adam Woolnough was there at the club. Petro was there. So I had a few old school front rows to learn off. Yeah. Sort of that was the year that I sort of learnt my trade a bit.
Yeah, you're only 21 at this stage,
yeah,
as well.
Yeah, but in my mind, I was like, I'm a veteran. I've played 3 years now.
Yeah,
years or whatever,
so
you know.
crazy.
But
It's so young.
Yeah, man. Like 2009, probably, you know, it was just a learning curve, and then 2010 come, and I sort of had a breakout season, which was good.
Yeah, so 2010 rolls around, and you had that full year on. It's someone you don't realise how much just week in week out footy can develop you as a player.
Yeah, man.
And that's clearly what happened with you.
I had a good chat with Matty Elliott at the end of 2009 season, and we broke down, like, he's like, what are you doing? And I sort of, we bring it down, like, Matty Elliott was ahead of the game, man. He was deep in, like, mental resilience and clearing your mind, and, like, we were doing yoga and mind training and that sort of stuff 2007, man.
Oh, really?
Like,
That's really early.
people thought he was like some weird hippie.
Like the Brad Fittler of fucking 2007.
Right. He was doing stuff that, like, is new now. Like, they're going, this new, like, he was into the organic eating and mind training, and, man, he was
crazy.
unreal. Matty Elliott was, like, unreal.
2007, man. That's like, what,
Early,
12 years
like,
ago?
Man.
Yeah.
And I remember having a meeting with him, and he was like, mate, what are you thinking? What are you doing? I'm like, I want to get good at this and that. And he's like, no. He goes, what makes you, what are you thinking when you play your best footy? I go, man, I don't think about it. I just get aggressive. And he's like, all right, every single day you come into this club now, I want you being aggressive. You're lifting weights, you're, like, aggressive. On the training field, if you're tackling, you're aggressive. So I just changed my mindset of just being, like, raw and just having a go, man. And 2010 rolled around, and I sort of had a breakout season. It was good.
And so, 2010, what was it like? You know, you started the year, and like, what was the whole process like, and how did it feel to be playing the best footy of your career, pretty much? Yeah,
man, it was unreal. I just ran hard, tackled hard, and just was aggressive, man. And man, our pack then, 2010, like our pack was, you know, Petro, Trent Waterhouse, Luke Lewis, Gavin Cooper, Frank Pritchard, Sam McKendry, myself. We were the two young guys, man. Like, Kevin Kingston was our hooker. Like, it was just a mad pack. And then we had, like, our game plan pretty much was like, let's just get forward. Luke Walsh would put the ball up in the air, and Lachlan Cooper would score tries. It was ridiculous, man. We finished the, like, regular season second.
Oh, wow.
And at Panthers at this stage, we didn't even have, like, full-time physio on that.
Fuck.
It was, like, bare bones, man. And it sort of probably come back to haunt us because we just played first semi, got beat by the Raiders, then we played the Roosters, and we just had, like, pretty much we had our whole salary cap sitting on the sideline just injured, man.
Really? Fuck.
It was probably our window of opportunity to win a comp.
Yep.
Ourselves, St. George and the Tigers were sort of the dominant teams 2010, but we bowed out from, just running out of troops. Yeah,
fuck, it's crazy how you can get unlucky like that and then just snowballs out of control.
Crazy.
Finish second as well. Like, fuck, that's a tough slog.
Yeah.
And so the next year rolls around, and this is the first year you make City Country, 2011.
Yep.
And so did you have another good year the next year?
Yeah, I felt like, 10 was my breakout season, and then 11 come around. Man, I just felt like a first grader, felt like an NRL player. Knew what made me tick, what it was that played my best footy. It just went from there. And it was sort of a hard year. It was like we had so much expectation from 2010. And then halfway through the year, we probably didn't meet that expectation. And then, unfortunately, our coach ended up getting sacked that year. And
was that when Ivan?
Yeah, no, that was when Matt Elliott got the sack. We had an interim coach, Steve Georgalis. He was unreal. Like, he was mad. But and then it was the transition into Ivan the following year. But it was just emotionally, like, Matty done so much for so many of the boys there.
Yep.
And he was like a father figure to many of us. And for him to watch him get sacked and that, I was like, man, this is business. It's not like the
how did he so he got second the year before, and so how did the sacking come about? Like,
I think it probably goes with expectation. Like, they expect us to be up there again, 2010, and we sort of struggled. Guys coming and going, and salary cap. We lost Frankie Pritchard, Gavin Cooper, guys like that.
Yep.
And then it just come around, man. It was like, bro, this is business. When I seen how he got sacked, and I was like, wow. This ain't just footy. Like, you play with your mates and that's business.
Yep.
But, it was sort of a weird one too, because the Warriors made the grand final that year, and I thought, Ive would stay at the Warriors. But, it was probably a good thing by the club. We got a, potential premiership winning coach to the club the following year. So, it was all looking up. So, worked out.
The selection for the City Country, was that cool?
Yeah, man. I think... It was sort of come as a shock.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was. John Cartwright was the coach, and you know when rep teams are starting to get picked in that, and it was back then. It was like pretty much a genuine trial for Origin.
Yeah, like bloody oath.
You know, like had a pretty good team. The country team was pretty good too, and when I see my name, I was like, like.
Oh, really? So you
crazy,
just seen it come out in the...
Yeah. So I didn't have a phone call on that. I just seen it come out. It was sort of in the press, like in the media and that's who they might look at. And right, when I made my debut, I was like, I remember I roomed with Trent Waterhouse. He was at Penrith.
Oh, really?
I was asking so many questions. I was like, oh, what's it like, man? He goes, it's sweet. It's just faster. That's it.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I like didn't know what to expect in that. And it was pretty crazy, man.
Yeah. What was it? Well, because who'd you play against? Who was your opposing front rower?
Who was it? Willie Mason.
Oh, really?
He was playing.
Is that cool?
Yeah. Like I sort of looked up to Big Willie as well as a young front rower.
Yeah.
And then to play against him was pretty cool, man.
Yeah. Did you just win?
We didn't win that game. No.
So the next year fucking you make your debut for New South Wales. Fuck, how did that come about?
Oh man, it was crazy. Like Ivan comes to the club, you know, and everything was looking good. I had a good preseason. Things were looking up. Petro moved on, so for me it was an opportunity to step up.
Yep.
You know, and sort of be a leader in the forwards. And then we played Bulldogs round one. I sort of had one of the best games I've played. Like my numbers and that were pretty good. And then I tore my calf, captain's run going into round two.
Yeah.
And then 12 weeks later, I come back from a grade 1 calf strain.
12 weeks.
Every time it would get better, I'd run it and it'd pop again.
Just that bad sports science, eh? Like, is it not bad, but just you didn't have the information yet now?
At the end of the day, it was crazy, man. Like, I come back grade 1, everyone was like, it should be healed. I'd run, bang, I'd pop it, and they'd be like, what's going on? I go, mate, I can feel it again. I think, you know, the club were getting a bit frustrated too, and, you know, Ives just come to the club and, you know, someone that he probably would have looked at as, you know, needed to step up and become a leader was sitting on the sideline.
Yeah.
You know, it was just a bit of a shit fight. And then I kept on like tearing it. And then Gus put me onto Liz Steach. She's actually the Origin physio. Yeah. So I went down and got scans and that of my back. She goes, it's definitely coming from your back.
Yeah.
This whole time I didn't get any treatment on my back or anything, just treating this calf.
Yeah.
But it was neural tension that made the calf like pop.
Yeah.
So we got the calf right, and I played 3 games, and then game 1 I was spewing because I missed City Country because I actually thought in my mind I was like, I reckon I'm a chance of playing Origin this season.
Yep.
And then I couldn't rush back in time to play City Country. I missed that, and then I missed game 1 of Origin.
Yep.
And then I can't remember how it come about, but Gow ended up going to lock, so they needed a front rower, and I remember it was like an arvo, and I was just at home and I nodded off, had a sleep, and I had a missed call on my phone. I was like, oh, who's this? And then I rang back. He goes, oh, mate, it's Ricky. I'm just letting you know we're about to go into announce the team. I'm just letting you know you're going to play Origin game 2 and you're starting. And he was like in a hurry to go do the media release. And I was like, oh, bro, I don't know. I didn't know what to say.
Yeah, it's like you're half asleep.
What do you mean, man? I had a number on my phone that I didn't know. And I was like, oh, I'll give it a call back. Yeah, man, it was crazy. It's so crazy, man.
So, like, what's the phone calls like after that?
Oh man, I remember my mum. So Origin in my house growing up as a kid was like the ultimate. Like we'd all sit around, like me and my brother. And I remember we'd just sit around waiting for the fights, all that, or the kickoff.
The first run off the kickoff.
Right, we used to love that.
Yeah.
And me and my brother used to just say like, what would you do if you got that opportunity? I said, bro, I'll just grab the ball and run as hard as I can. Yeah, it was crazy. But
did you ever get that opportunity? Did you get a kickoff?
Yeah, I got my first touch in Origin was a kickoff.
Is it what the first touch period?
First touch ever. Like that's
in the game.
Yeah, and
so the kickoff for Origin 2, you got the first run.
Yeah, it was. And I remember like 80,000 people. I've never played a stadium with 80,000, and like the ground rumbling. Man, I was like, oh, this is it.
Oh, really? It was just
like it was like, oh man, it was crazy. But I remember during the week, they were saying like, oh, it was Jimmy Tamo was the other front rower.
Yep.
And they go, oh, they kick off to our left. I was like, yeah, sweet. And then in my mind, I was like, Jimmy, you've played Origin, bro. Jump on the right. I want the left.
Oh, really?
Yeah, okay. I just want that opportunity.
Yeah, just that first hit up at least.
Yeah, just get rid of the nerves and that. Yeah. And I was lucky enough. He was cool. He's like, yeah, sweet, man. Like, Jimmy Tamo's the ultimate legend.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, bro, take it. You know what I mean? So, man, it was unreal. It was like,
so do you remember like the ball coming down and you just like, all right, we're on here?
Yeah, man. I was like, in my mind, there was a switch of like aggression, man, and like people were into me at the time of like, bro, you were off your head, because I was like had a frown and I was like actually angry, man. I don't know what it was. I was just like something come over me.
Yeah.
They kicked it off and I was like, yeah, this is mad, and just run as hard as you can.
What was that first contact like?
Man, it was crazy. So, man, I was sort of lucky enough that I caught Petro off balance and sort of he bounced off.
Yep.
Because I reckon if he hit me square, I'd probably still be late. You know, and it was just, it was man, it was unreal. Like it probably wasn't the best carry technically, because I got put on my back and that sort of stuff. But I survived it, so it was 100%. Sweet, man. It was sweet.
You know, like to get on your front the first carry of a game or even of any half.
Oh,
the defense has done something wrong.
Yeah.
In Origin, like you've got to, if you don't get used. You know what I mean? Like usually you should get us in the first line, because you got 3-4 blokes trying to shoot you.
I remember it clearly. I had Dave Taylor, Matt Scott, Petro. That's who I ran at, and I was like,
that's not small.
Surely I could think of something better.
Run it a half, bro.
Find Cameron Smith in the middle or something. He'll catch you. I don't mind getting wrestled. He'll catch you and wrestle you.
100%. What's something that, like, if you could explain to people that watch Origin, what's the feeling like of that? Because that first hit up means everything, like a lot to a lot of people. You know, it's like everyone's watching, just like if someone, for example, if someone gets that first hit up as a forward, even though we can't talk because we're not the fucking forward doing it, but if they don't run hard, it's like, mate, like, fuck, man, it's like, Origin. You got to.
Yeah. For me, it was like, because me and my brother used to watch it and we used to talk about how mad it would be in that.
Yeah.
I was like, this is my one and only shot. Like, just get it, run as hard as you can. Whatever happens, happens, man.
Yeah.
Like, you can never bag a bloke like, oh, remember his first carry, he ran as hard as he could and got knocked out. Who cares, man? Like, or 100%. Remember he carried it like a bitch. Like, bro, I don't want to be known as that.
Nah, no way.
Just have a dig, man. Yeah. So, man, it was all like, it was just crazy, eh?
Bowls first.
Yeah, man.
And
it's like, sort of, I knew everyone that ever had an input in my career would have been watching, and like, you got to do your people proud, right?
100%. So. Yeah, you're totally right. Eh? You don't want to be that guy that, like, especially that first Origin hit up, like, because everyone's watching it, just going, fuck. Queenslanders like, kill him. New South Wales like, kill him.
And I grew up playing like against Mitchell Pearce, and I remember they kicked it off to us. Pearce, he caught it, passed me the ball, and I just remember him yelling, like, just getting into me, just revving it up. It was hectic, man. I loved it.
How good is that? So it was the ANZ too.
Yeah.
What a moment, man.
Yeah. So we got beat game one, so it was we had to win too.
Did you win that game?
Yeah, we won game two.
What was that feeling like?
Man, it was crazy. I remember after it, like, Freddie was interviewing me. I was like, I'm on top of the world. This is the best thing.
Life can't get better.
It's so good.
Yeah. And so in the game, is there anything else you remember? Was there like, was this 2012? So there wasn't that stink in that. Was that 2011 maybe, that stink?
Yeah, that was 2011.
Yeah.
I mean, I just remember like how fast it was and how physical, and just like every single tackle. You know, when you're playing NRL and you're like, maybe every now and then you get sort of shaken up a bit. Yeah. Every single tackle was like off.
Oh, really?
I was like,
and every play is like the high end of.
Yeah, and I was like, this suits my game, man, because I'm not that skillful in that. It's just be in the game and compete. It sort of suited my game, so I loved it, man.
Okay, so did you play the third? Or
I played game 2 and 3. Played game 3. Man, we actually thought in our head like we're going to win it.
Yep.
We had guys, Robbie Farah, Greg Bird, Ryan Hoffman, Gal, like. They played against that team for so long and had so much disappointment, and we actually thought we were going to win that game. Like, Sticky was unreal. Like, I've never wanted to play for someone as much as Ricky Stewart. Like, he just bleeds blue and so passionate. And we actually thought, like, this is us, boys. We're going to win this.
Yeah,
and
we're going to break the streak.
We were right in it. Like, I remember Robbie kicking for one of the Morris boys, just boom, the grouse try. We should have won it, and then dying minutes, Cooper Cronk bangs one from 40.
Oh, really? That was it, that one. Like, mate, that's the thing with that Queensland side is like,
man,
there's so many potential best evers that they're going to find a way.
Just pulled one out of the fire. And I was like, fuck, man. I remember when he kicked the field goal, I was sitting on the bench and I was frozen. Like, I was so shattered, man. I've never played in grand final, like NRL grand final and that, but played in a decider, Origin. I was like, fuck.
Was this up at Suncorp too?
Yeah. And I was like, bro, I was just shattered. I couldn't move.
What was the reception like running out Suncorp? Like,
bro, it was mad. It was unreal, and I was sort of getting heckled heaps too, because after game 1, they come out and said, what do you think of Queensland? And I said, I don't think of Queensland. I hate them. But like, I didn't mean to say it like that.
Yeah.
And then obviously Petro come out, and he's sort of a mentor of mine, and he was like, we're mates off the field and that, but it's Origin. I was like, this is hectic.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I was like,
Origin banter's getting thrown back and
Origin
forth.
banter started. I was like, this is real, man.
That's what I like. The thing is like, of course you hate Queensland, not in a genuine hate way of like, I actually hate them as people, but it's like, that's a maroon jersey. That's a Blues jersey.
Absolutely, man.
It's hate, but it's also a sense of respect too. Like we're going out to battle here. It's not. Yeah, the whole when people get caught up in like, he said he hated this or that. It's like you're not understanding what he's saying.
Yeah, 100%, man. You know what? I reckon there's a genuine. I don't know what it is. It's like guys that play in Queensland, grew up in Queensland, that they sort of hang together, and like the New South Wales boys hang together. Like we all get on and that. It's all good, but like come Origin time, it's genuine.
Man. Bloody oath! Like in our under-19s one, like we've had a massive brawl.
Right, that was standard, right? Like I played a couple of like 17s and 19s and that. Yeah. Every single game there was a scrap.
There's
a
massive
scrap.
That's just how it was. I don't know how to fight. At the time, like I'd never I'd been in punch-ons like growing up, but a footy fight with legit big athletes that can actually some of them can throw them.
Yeah.
But it wasn't about like the fight. That was a New South Wales
bloody oath, man.
And it was on the field, and we were going to scrap. And they punched me, I punched them. It's like, all right, sweet.
I remember, man. 2007, I played 19s Origin.
Yeah.
And I was playing first grade at the time, and Hainsey was in our team, guys like that. And I remember it kicked off.
Oh, so you were in that game?
Yeah,
that's the game I'm talking about.
There you go, man. Yeah. It kicked off, and I remember like. As bad as it sounds, I didn't really want to play because like I was playing first grade.
Yeah.
That's the priority.
Yeah, you don't want to get injured.
Matty goes, mate, I want you to go play like Matty Elliott. And so I played, and he pretty much said like, make sure you look after yourself, like,
yeah.
And then when the punch on kicked off, I was sort of just like,
what's happening
in there? But I didn't want to get in there. I was like, if I get suspended or get smashed or like break a cheekbone or something, so I was like. Passive aggressive, it was shit.
Well, but you guys were always behind. I mean, I assume because I don't know what your pre-game speech was, but our pre-game speech was from Gordon Tallis.
Oh man!
And he told us that when it kicks off, you go in swinging or you just walk. You don't push and shove and see what's happening.
Yeah.
So as soon as we saw anything, the whole team, our mentality was different to your guys' mentality because your guys' mentality wasn't like as soon as it kicks off, everyone's throwing kind of thing. And so that's why if you watch a video, like our team like runs in.
Yeah, it was on.
And it was just on from the get-go. And your team was like, all right, sweet, we'll go there kind of thing. But
bro, that was so good, man.
How good was that? Yeah, fucking oath.
Bro, I loved like some of the junior stuff it was an opportunity to meet guys from other teams and that. And even today, like guys like Corey Patterson and, Hainsey, Tim Manor and that, like, I'd class them as mates, like you know what I mean.
Especially if you've played in Queensland, New South Wales.
We don't speak to them like I'm not in touch with them like regularly in that, but when I see them in that, it's like that. We've gone to war together.
Yeah, 100%, bro, 100%. That was so good. And that's the thing. Like I've had Hainsey on the show, and I randomly spoken to Uarte because he was in the side as well, and. Like, you don't think about the fight as a negative thing. It's like, it's fucking footy. Like,
we rolled together.
It's fucking mad. Who cares? All right, so, that third Origin, you just lose 40-metre field goal. That goes over, and we're just, like, heartbroken.
Bro, it was like, it was crazy. But you know what? Like, I got so much respect for Cooper Cronk. I remember I was sort of 23, 24. I was just a young kid, played Origin and that. And I was at the airport by myself and that. I don't know why I was catching a different flight, but... he came up to me at the airport and we had a chat and that. So, for him to do that, like he just won the Origin series.
Oh, really?
He's the man.
And what did he just come up and said, hey, mate?
Yeah, I was sitting by myself and that. He just come up and had a chat and that. Like, he's just a legend. Though.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, you're just a kid from Penrith or whatever, and you're in that position where you got to play against a guy like Cooper Cronk who won the Origin. The next day, he's just come up and talking to you.
Man. That's one of the biggest things in my career, man. When I look back, like I've been in teams, I've moved clubs and that. Man, if I was to write down the guys that I got to play with, it's crazy, man. Like Benji, Greg Inglis, Craig Gow, like so many legends. I'm just pinching myself, bro. I'm stoked. Like,
yeah, I'm the same, bro.
It's unreal, bro.
And you're just like, fuck, I'm just a kid. I was just a kid, like doing nothing, and
Bro,
like then
that's the beauty of our game, man.
Yeah.
Anyone can play and anyone can excel, man.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so 2013 rolls around, and what was that year like for you?
Yeah, it was sort of it was decent. I sort of had a decent season. I remember I broke my hand, had sort of a compound fracture in my hand, and Laurie was the coach, so Sticky went full time with Canberra.
Yep.
Laurie was the coach. I didn't get picked for game one. Probably, Woodsy and that were emerging. Aaron Woods was emerging at that stage, and he was playing better footy than me at the time. I didn't get picked in game one, but then Laurie rang me for game two. Pretty much said I was in and that. I said, mate, I've got a broken hand, but I can play.
Yep.
Send for your scans and that. And Liz Steet, that helped me with my back.
Yeah.
The previous year, I sent her the scans, and like you could actually see the break all the way through.
Oh, really? So you can't play?
Nah. So that Origin was on the Wednesday.
Yep.
So like to prove a point, I played on the Friday with the fracture in my hand for Panthers. It was against the Dragons actually.
Yep.
At home, I dropped the first two balls.
Oh.
One was a clean drop.
Yep.
Boom, dropped it, and then I couldn't play the ball properly and fumbled it.
And then that's not going to help you.
So I had a plaster on, so I took the plaster off and played the rest of the game. But man, I wasn't right. So it was probably a blessing in disguise. You don't want to let your state down on that.
No way.
But to be honest, I would have loved to have played Origin again. And sort of the door shut, and I never got the opportunity again. But man, it's disappointing. But looking back, it is what it is. Eh?
Yeah, at least it's better to have loved and lost than not loved at all.
That's right, man.
Fucking hell, you got there, bro. You're in there. Okay, so you get granted a release early in 2014 season.
Yeah, so so the way it worked out, we signed. There was 5 of us at Panthers at the time. Myself, Luke Lewis, Lachlan Coote, Michael Jennings, Sam McKendry signed contracts with ratchet clauses in there. So, say for instance, you're getting a certain percentage of the cap. If the cap goes up, you still get that percentage.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And there was talk around that time that the game was expanding and would get more money.
Yep.
Anyway, it worked out that 5 of us were getting a fair majority of the salary cap, and we're either one of us, 2 of us, 3 of us, all of us might have to move on.
Yep.
And it was hard at the time. I was like, man, this is my club. Without sounding entitled or arrogant or rude, this is my club, man. I'm here.
Yeah.
This is what do you mean?
Yeah,
I'm looking somewhere else. I've never thought of playing for anyone else. Even the thought of putting on another jersey is bro, that's not well. And then, so my manager started looking around, and I was lucky enough to, through the negotiation process, I looked at a few clubs, and a few clubs were interested. But then I sat down with Madge, and man, I loved what he was about, and I had a connection with Shane Richardson from early Panther days, so he sort of knew what I was about, and I had a chat with Madge, and I wanted to play for him. If the opportunity to not play for Penrith wasn't there, I wanted to play for Madge. I went. The meeting was crazy, man. I went to his house, sat on his lounge, and we just had a chat. It was unreal.
Is he just as intense as he seems?
Yeah, man. But it's like with Madge, you can't bag him or anything for being too intense because he lives it. He's the first in the gym training. He'll train in the gym and then work all day. And as you're leaving at night, his lights on the office is still on. So
he just loves it.
But you can't say he trains us too hard in that because he goes harder.
But, as you've got to be if you want to demand so much of people.
Yeah, man. But so I signed with South. I was going to go there mid-season, but that didn't eventuate. And then they ended up winning the comp that year, which hurt a bit, but and I played majority of that year in Reggie's.
Yep.
But we won the comp in Reggie's, so that wasn't too
you?
bad.
That's all right. Fuck,
yeah,
it's
it's consolation. But,
the good old put you in Reggie's until you go.
And at the time we had over 1,000 games experience in Reggie's, like NRL games. We had Kev Kingston, Jamal Idris, Kev Naguama, Wes Naguama. We had the mad team. So, and we had young guys coming through too, like Wanga Blake and Regan Campbell-Gillard. So I enjoyed the year, but man, I wanted to be playing NRL.
Yeah, bloody oath.
Just get me to South now because I want to start the new journey, the next chapter.
Once you know it's over, and also the way it came about, it's not like you chose to go there. And you did, but you know what I mean? You got told to look
Man, I struggled, man. Mentally, I struggled. I was so shattered that I had to leave Penrith, man.
Yeah.
From the day I left was the day I wanted to come back.
Really?
Just the people. I just missed everyone, man.
I mean, you grew up there. That's your.
Right, that's my jersey. That's my club.
Yeah. It's tough, eh? And like it was through no fault of your own, you know. Like it was more just they had mishandled the salary cap, and you happened to be the fucking guy that got the tap on the shoulder.
Man, you sign the contract that's in front of you, right? Like
you don't know. You're not. It's not your responsibility. Like if you got to handle the salary cap, like
that's right. But
and so was it frustrating in the sense that like you know. Why am I the one getting dropped to, New South Wales Cup and told to...
Yeah, man, it was hard. But in saying that, like the boys that were playing there at the time were doing a great job. Like they ended up prelim, like semi-final, and hats off. Like that's unreal. Like
that's just footy, yeah. So you signed a 4-year deal with Rabbitohs?
Yeah, I signed a 4-year deal. Man, I was stoked to try something new. I feel like when you play for a club, you've got to be a part of the community. So I actually moved into the eastern suburbs.
The eastern suburbs. Man, whereabouts?
Chifley.
Yeah.
So I was at Chifley, and it was unreal at the time. Like I had a duplex there, and George Burgess owned the other half of the duplex.
Oh, really?
And then Luke Burgess was next door to us.
Oh, yeah, good time.
Tom Burgess was living with his brother, with Georgie. Man, we had a good time.
Yeah. Were you single at the time or had a missus?
No, I had a missus at the time, and it was good too for her. Like, she moved, so she was friends with the girls, and man, it was a good time. Like we had a ball. But, so I was there for a year. I did 2 pre-seasons with Madge. Man, I love my time at South. I love the people. I love the community. They just love their footy team.
Yep.
Man, I've got so many good friends at Souths, and I was grateful for the opportunity. But they signed Sam, and salary cap come again and got me, man. So
fucking salary cap,
bro, salary cap kept chasing me. So someone had to leave to accommodate
Semi coming back.
Yeah, which man, like
you get it,
bro. That's his club. Like Panthers was my club. That's his club, and then bro, they have to put him back in.
Yeah.
And I think at the time, like everyone sort of was for sale. Like anyone that could move would move.
So they pretty much went to everyone and said, "Look, can you move?"
Not that. Just pretty much put how it works, however it works. Told the managers and other clubs that if you want any of our players, like we're open to negotiate or whatever.
Yep.
Madge called me into his office and said, "Mate, the Tigers have shown interest in you." I later found out that Paul Stringer was the assistant coach at the Tigers, and he said to Jason Taylor, "We need an old school front rower with experience in that." And then JT gave me a call, and man, JT is an absolute legend, such a good coach. And he told me, like, I went in there, had a medical, had a chat with JT, and signed. So
it's just like that.
Yeah, I went to the Tigers in January.
And so was it essentially the same deal that you were on?
It was the same deal. I had 3 years remaining, so I signed a 2-year deal with the final year as an option.
In your favour?
Yeah, in my favour. Just because in the back of my mind, even though I love the Tigers, and I feel like that's a massive part of me, and always will be. Like the fans, everyone there, like the boys, I love the club.
Yep.
But Panthers was my club, so I always had that option in my favour. Tried to get back to Panthers, but it didn't eventuate just because of salary cap again.
Fucking hell, bro! Fucking salary cap, man! It's fucking stinging you.
Yeah.
So you go to the top. So the year at the Rabbitohs, what was that like for you?
It was good. Like I sort of, played some good footy, played some shit footy. Like it was just the NRL season, man. It was a roller coaster. We trained really hard. Enjoyed my time. Like met so many people. It was good. Like it was an unreal club.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've met so many people that I'm grateful. If I stayed at Penrith, I probably wouldn't have met as many people as I did. Yeah. I love my time at Souths. I got to play with like Greg Inglis and John Sutton, and man, it was unreal, man. But man, I got to play footy. Like it's all the same.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, so true, so true. Okay, so you go to the Tigers, and I guess what was that like? Those years at the Tigers?
Yeah, so when I went from Souths to the Tigers, it was totally different. It was like chalk and cheese. Like one's run like a more of a professional business sporting franchise, which was the Rabbitohs, and then you went to the Tigers, and it was like a footy club, and
old school.
The gear guy was cooking the barbecue, and his wife is always at the games, and it's just like a big family. We had the bare minimum, man. Like you'd walk in there, like my gym at home is better than the Tigers gym at the time.
That's wow, fuck.
But it was enough. We never went without anything. Like the club always made sure that what we needed was there, and man, the physio, like Peter Musa, he's a legend. Like he'd put his own family aside and make sure the boys were treated like late at night and that. Like
that's crazy.
Everyone there was just like ultra committed, and it was just a great environment, man. I loved it, eh?
And so that's 2014 and 15. So you would have been there, 16 and 17.
Yep.
And 18. And so were you there when the whole, was it the Benji Farrer and thing and everything like that happened?
Yep. So I've come sort of a couple of games into 2017.
Yep.
And then 2018, that's when when he brought Benj and Robbie back to the club.
Also, Robbie and that had already moved on by the time you had got there?
So I was there when Benji wasn't there, but I was there when the whole thing,
what was that like
with Robbie going on.
What was that like as a teammate?
Man, it was crazy, man, because like I knew what the Tigers meant to Robbie. Like it was his club as well as like I sort of knew how shattered he'd be. I was shattered when I left Penrith, and for him to, you know, the standing and support that he had in the club and the community, to then be playing, you know, park footy and that, it was tough to watch, but Robbie did what was best for him, and he moved to South for 2 years, and man, I was so happy when he got his wish and come back. It was probably fitting. But it was sort of, at the time, there was a massive transition at the club. JT was doing his best, what he thought was best, and you know, I've got massive respect for JT, and I think he's one of the best coaches I've had, if not the best.
Oh, really?
He's just a people person, but you know what? Like, if you ask Robbie, he's probably got a different opinion. Like, you ask anyone, like some guys love a coach, some guys didn't get on with them, or whatever. You know, it's business as well. Like,
it's life, really. You know.
But man, like, I've got the ultimate respect for JT and what he done for me, and man, they're both mates of mine, JT and Robbie. So what went on, but you know, it sorts itself out.
It's hard, like when you're in a team and you've got, like, you know, your mate is going, like, you understand where he's coming from, but you understand where the coach is coming from, and you're just like, fuck, man, like, I get it. It's just it's such a high. There's so much at stake that, like, people are bound to clash eventually.
That's right, man. It's but it all sorted itself out and
ended up back there. Okay, so when Ivan came to the club, now he was someone that said, you know, if you can move on from Panthers, move on. What was that like? You know, because you were in a period at the Tigers where it was fucking upheaval.
Yeah, man. It's one thing I knew I wanted to go to the Tigers was Justin Pascoe was there, and I had a bit to do with Justin at Penrith. He was the CEO at Penrith. I wore Kokoda and that with Justin.
Oh, really?
And Phil Moss was there as well. He was at Penrith. Matt Cameron was there. He's now at Penrith. Matty Cameron was actually our 19s Origin coach. He was at Parramatta at the time. Yeah, but so I had like an understanding of who was in charge and what direction the club was going. And I thought, to make a change, like, you got to go and live it, right? So I just wanted to jump on board and make a change. But, they were heading in the right direction in my mind, and I thought JT was probably the coach to take us in that direction. Obviously, things worked out where, you know, we had sort of players saying they weren't going to re-sign until they knew who the coach was and all this sort of stuff. And I remember having a chat with Justin at the time, and I said, you know what, I really think that he probably had it in mind anyway, because him and Ivan were mates. But I said, you know, like, I really feel like if we had Ivan clear at the club, he would sort this stuff out. Either for better or for worse, you know. And he ended up doing that. He put some deadlines on some contracts, and we moved in a different direction.
And so, what was it like? So that was when Teddy moved on. Fucking hell, bro.
Crazy, man.
What was it like playing with a guy like Jamie Tedesco? Like,
man, I love playing with Teddy. He's just such a simple sort of fella. Like, he just wants to play good footy, have fun with the boys. He's a legend, man. And I guess he's one of them players where you look back and tell your grandkids you got to play alongside him.
Was he when you, like, let's say you saw him like play at the start of his career, even though he got through those injuries, were you always like, he's going to be hectic, you know, Origin?
Oh man, like, he was doing stuff at training and that, and it's just, how does he do that? Like, what a freak. And I knew he was like, you know, when you see a player and that, you're like, yeah, he's good. But when you're day in, day out training and that with him, you're like, bro, he's a freak.
You're only seeing the tip of the iceberg.
Bro, he's the closest thing to Greg Inglis I've seen. Like, just way how he's balanced and strong. And
oh, wow.
And I got to play with Greggy, and then when I seen Teddy, I was like, he's a freak.
Just that fucking ability to, like, do things that other bodies can't do, kind of thing.
Freak. Crazy, man.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, so Ivan comes in, and were you a bit like, oh shit?
I was a bit like, I was pro Ivan coming to the club because I knew he would have sorted it out. Where that held in terms of my career, I wasn't too sure.
Yeah.
One thing I was positive at, Ivan knows what I'm about and how I do things, and I was positive about it.
Yeah.
It was a familiar face. I know how he does business, and it's sort of like not having a new coach because I've been there before, like all his game plan and that. I sort of knew what he wanted before he'd say it, just because I've been under his coach before. But he signed Ben Madalino and Russell Packer too, so I sort of took a back seat and only played 5 games that year, so it was sort of tough. But I actually enjoyed playing reserve grade too. Seeing the young guys come through and mature into first graders was it was a good thing. And Brett Hodgson was our coach, so
how good's that?
He's a legend. So
okay, so the deal back to the Penny Panthers, was that just like fuck? How good is this?
Man, every time I'd speak to my agent, like because I had a year in my favour at the Tigers. I was like, get me back to Penrith. I actually went to Penrith. Went through the facility, had a meeting with Gus and Jimmy Jones. I was like, man, I just want to be home. Like, it wasn't about, I don't care. The salary cap space wasn't there. And I said, I don't care. Just put me in the 30. I just want to play. And it didn't eventuate that year, but the following year, my manager got the deal done, and I went back there and got in the 30, and that's all that mattered.
So what's it like seeing, you were there at the start with Penrith Panthers, and then you saw what, obviously there were other people involved, but, what Gus has been able to do for that club, like, which is, crazy. Like the facilities, like he's turned it into, and I don't know how he did it, but what he's done is immense off the field. What was that like as a player that grew up there and seeing that change? Yeah,
so when I was there, Gus just come in and he was making some changes. He was pretty influential on my career of, he was the first phone call I took after Ricky Stewart when I made Origin.
Oh, wow.
And you know what Gus is like, man, like when he talks, everyone listens.
Yeah.
But then I ended up getting moved on from the club. So I was part of the process of moving forward. Like I was part of that, man. And
so you'd worn the sacrifice kind of thing.
Yeah. And then, I sort of moved on. And then when I come back, I was like, man, I was super proud of who we were as a club and how far we'd come. Like, I was super, super happy for the community and everyone involved that, man, we've got state-of-the-art facilities. We've got everything in place now. As a young junior, you want to strive to put on a Panthers jersey because that's where you want to be, man. You want to train there. You want to play there.
It's got identity.
It's like the hub, man. Like you go there, it's just state-of-the-art. And you walk in there and you want to be a professional because it is that professional.
Oh, wow, really? Yeah. I remember at the Broncos, we had a sign saying, like, we can provide you with everything. Yeah. All you need to bring is effort. Yeah. And I guess, like, when I used to read that, it used to mean a lot to me because I'd be like, man, it's so simple. I'll just fucking rip in.
That's the only ingredient that's missing,
right?
I'll
just fucking rip in and they can take care of everything else. Yeah. And I guess it's a similar sense now at the Penrith Panthers. Like, you've got that identity as a club. Like, we can be something special if you rip in. Kind of
I feel like we went from nearly folding, I guess. Yep. To when you say if you're to list 5 clubs in the NRL that are big clubs, powerhouses, you'd put Penrith in there for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll probably, if they had to get rid of a Sydney team in 2010-11, would probably be one of the ones neck on the chopping block. Now would be the first one to stay,
I mean...
Our junior pathways and development,
And Gus Gould was the initiator of that kind of thing?
I think Gus was the initiator, and one thing that Gus is really good at is putting people in place. Like, we've got Matt Cameron there now. He's looking after all the junior pathways. There's so many people behind the scenes at Panthers that make it the beast that it is. But he was the figurehead of it for sure.
What do you reckon is the most that you've learned off a guy like Gus? Like,
the most I learned is probably just relationships. Like, you can never know too many people, and everyone's got a story, and have respect and time for everyone. I think he's the ultimate communicator. I think if you can communicate and show respect and have relationships, you can do anything in life, I reckon.
That's so true. Like, and it's more like who you know rather than what you know a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I remember when it first came and they were looking for a coach, and I was like, Wayne Bennett, Gus Gould, they may not get along, but they're professionals, man. Could you imagine if they got together? Fuck.
It'd be a powerhouse for sure. But in saying that, the club have got
going well. It's like, last 7 of 8 games they've won?
Yeah.
They can make the top 4 now, I'm pretty sure, if they win next year.
One massive positive that Ivan's at the club is he's sort of he planted the seed of all these young guys. Like, he's had his finger on the pulse with the young guys that are now first graders.
Yep.
It's nearly like he planted the seed, it grew, and now he's come back to like get the fruits of his labour. You know,
Yep.
it's So I think moving forward, he'll be the man to take us to that
next level kind of thing.
Yeah. So
man, if Penrith, like, if you can, like, if you get to a finals, like the swell in Western Sydney would be fucking crazy.
That's one thing I love about Penrith is like. I missed it. I go around there, everyone will be like, "Hey mate, how you been, TJ?" Like, everyone wants to chat and that. And when the team win, the whole community's happy, man.
Yeah.
It's like happy days.
So I guess, what's the next 12 months? If everything goes perfectly, what are you doing?
Mate, to be honest, I really want to stay within the club. I've been doing sort of an internship sort of thing now with corporate and sponsorship. I've done my real estate license and that sort of stuff, but man, I'd rather sell something that I'm passionate about, like, and build them relationships and partnerships with our sponsors, and also give back a bit. But in saying that, if that wasn't to eventuate, man, I just want to. I want to be my own boss, I guess. And my partner's she's got laser clinics, so I think moving forward I'll get involved there and help her chase her dreams as well, I guess. Like, even though I've got sort of life ambitions and that, I've sort of ticked off a massive one. I got to live my dream as a young fella, and to help her follow her dreams now is something that I'm pretty passionate about.
Yeah, no, I'm saying with my missus, it's funny how, like, we're so lucky to be in a rugby league system because we get taught this mentality from, like, 5 years old of, like, rip and tear, you can do anything, don't let anyone get in your way. Whereas it's meeting people that may not be in sporting systems or didn't get lucky enough to be in a professional sporting system, they don't have that same confidence built into them.
Yep.
So they don't actually realise what they're capable of, and so opportunities might come and they might be like, oh, fuck, I don't know, can I do that? Whereas, like, we'd be like, fucking oath, I can do that.
Someone's got to do it.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's same situation with my missus. I'm like, fucking oath, you can fucking rip in. It's all good.
100%. And I think there's a massive, like, high performance sport and business. I feel like it's the same. It's just in a different direction. Like, the stuff that we learn or what we're about is the same as business. It's just a matter of, channeling it in a different direction. Yeah,
and also, I guess, something I've learned with business as well is it's a lot more like massaging of, like, you can't just walk in and go, mate, that's fucking shit, pull your head in.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, rugby league, you can walk in and go, you need to fucking be better. You're too soft, you're weak, you're not disciplined. You do that in the business environment, it's like, fuck.
Man, like, that's what I said. I was like, even though, it's probably not politically correct, but in a footy change room, you can be sexist, racist. You can be whatever you want, because we know, like, it's like, we're all brothers, man.
Yeah, it's not coming from a hurt kind of perspective.
Yeah, it's just banter and fun. Yeah. But if you were to do that in society, man,
oh my God,
you're probably going to get locked up.
Oh, man. Some of the stuff, like, it's I think it's just like, it's because it's coming from a banter perspective, not like, you're not it's actually out of love, like,
100%.
Whereas, like, in a business pro, wow, you could
business meeting, how good would that go down?
Like, you did fucking nothing last week. What do you bro? You dropped 3 clients. Like, what are you talking about? You've done nothing in this company. Could you imagine saying that to someone?
Oh man.
But I ask this is a name game, so I'll say a name and then you just respond the first word that comes to your head, kind of thing. So I just go through NRL players and that. Ricky Stewart.
Passionate.
Darren Lockyer.
Legend.
Andrew Johns.
The king.
Brad Fittler.
Man, Freddie, there's so many different angles. I think respect. Like, I just got massive respect for Freddie because he's from the same area as me.
Yep.
And there's so many different elements of Freddie. Like, he doesn't take things too serious. He's a legend, but when he is serious, he's legit.
Bro, that's so true.
Man,
like,
I love him, mate.
So chill, but he's also ruthless.
Bro, man, he's I was going through a hard time 2014, moving on from the club and that sort of stuff, and probably didn't have the right to play city country, but he picked me anyway just to get me out of, clubland day-to-day grind. And I remember sitting next to him on the plane and we're just talking about eastern suburbs and what's next in footy and that, man. I've got heaps of respect for Freddie.
It's crazy how, like, just that one bit of faith or whatever.
Yeah.
It could have could have given your career an extra 4 to 5 years because it gave you that confidence and happiness again, kind of thing.
Man, he's a legend. And I think I've always, got on with Freddie just because if you ask Freddie, a massive part of his life is Penrith. He's got a lot of friends still out there, and he's got a massive respect for the community and the people as well. And that aligns with what I'm about.
Yep. Ruben Wiki.
Tough.
Monty Beetham.
Boxer.
Scrapper.
Scrapper.
Mad scrapper. Shane Webke.
Probably, like, I can't say the king because I called Joey that. But, like, he's the pioneer, right? Like,
front rowers, like.
Pretty much, if you say Webke, I'm saying Petro. Like, bro, that's chalk. Like, that's just. And like, they just go together.
That's what's crazy with Queensland. It's like they went, Webke retired and Petro just come in. Like, well, they played together at some stage.
They played together and it just worked, didn't it? Like, Webke, Petro, they have to be together.
They never shirked a run. I've never seen it. Like, you've never seen Petro rock up and be like, oh, he's a bit soft today. Like, he didn't really fucking have the hard carries. Like, every week they were having the hard carries.
No, even a trainer.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Tell me about that. Peter Sterling.
Bald.
Snoz. Laurie Daly.
Snoz.
Okay. Favorite rapper of all time.
Favorite rapper. See, I'm a bit weird. I like Tupac and Biggie. Like, usually you got to pick one, right?
Yeah.
I like both of them, man. I like that old school. Like when we were growing up, man. You get your P's, you put Tupac on, right?
Oh,
in the
100%.
CD player.
Bro.
You have the big album full of CDs.
Yeah.
Tupac, Biggie.
Flip through that book.
Yeah, man. It's like that thick.
Yep. And it's like pull the CD out.
You got 600 songs all up, and it weighs 80 kilos in.
Favorite movie of all time.
Favorite movie of all time? I think I got two because I'm a massive car dude. I love cars, so it's either Gone in 60 Seconds or
great movie.
Probably Forrest Gump.
I love
Forrest Gump. That's like the story behind it, man.
Yeah, that is a great movie. Forrest Gump. I mean, it's a classic.
It's just easy watching.
Yeah, and like Tom Hanks, like, ridiculous.
Killed it.
All right, thanks so much for coming on, brother. And I'm sure we'll see each other around the track, especially if you're out at Penrith now.
Yep.
And
for sure,
I do more media and everything like that. But yeah, thanks for coming on, brother. I appreciate it.
Thanks, mate.
And boom, that's it.
It's awesome.